Jai Opetaia versus Jordan Thompson. 12 rounds in the cruiserweight division for Opetaia's IBF cruiserweight title. Let's get into it. Let's start with the champ in his first title defense. Opetaia, 22 wins, 0 losses, 17 wins by way of knockout. Man, what a year Opetaia had last year. He fought one time, and in that one time, in that one fight, he showed more than just his boxing ability. He showed toughness, he showed grit, he showed determination and the heart that it takes to become a champion. He went into that fight healthy and left that fight with a broken jaw and a belt. The man finished the fight with a broken jaw. That's crazy in the sport of boxing, considering what the task is at hand. You're getting punched in the face. It's hard not to hit the jaw when you're getting punched in the face. So, once he broke his jaw, that face was getting touched up very consistently. So he really had to earn that fight, really had to earn that win. And it showed us a lot about Jai Opetaia. Let's go back into his most recent fight, and that's where we're going to start, right? How did he look? Before that fight, there wasn't a lot of buzz around Opetaia, right? Not a whole lot of buzz around him. And when I say buzz, I'm talking about the mainstream media, right? Like, not a people are really talking about him too much. They weren't really saying too much. They said, yeah, he's skillful. He can do some things, but they did not expect him to put forth that type of performance and beat Marius Briedis, right? And I'm sure Briedis was the favorite. I'm not sure how much, but I'm sure that he was the favorite by probably quite a bit. Briedis was the proven champion, right? Briedis fought the better opposition, lost a close fight against the heavyweight champion, now Alexander Usyk. So it's hard to go against what everybody else was saying. Now, I saw Opetaia fight a couple times. My Australian supporters, man, they have sent me some tape and showed me a little bit about him in previous years before. And from what I saw, I felt like Opetaia needed to get a great start and needed to start quickly when he fought Marius Briedis. Briedis usually warms up into the fight. He's not the slowest starter, but not the fastest starter either. And when the fight started, man, I thought Opetaia fought a great fight. He kept Briedis busy with effective pressure, beautiful counters, good jabs, solid body work, and his package of punches and how he was putting his punches together and the combinations was solid across the board. But I think the best thing that he did in that fight was keep his feet moving, being light on his toes, not being stiff in his movements, staying off of the ropes, kept the fight in the center of the ring and as much off of the ropes as he could, knew when to engage and when to pull back and be defensively responsible. Opetaia has a great sneaky uppercut that continued and consistently landed at will as the fight went on. It's very subtle, but quick, sharp, snappy, powerful, and does damage every time that he did connect with that punch. It's one of his best shots to me. In the cruiserweight division, the heavyweight division, as the weight goes up, one of the things that is often lacked is the speed. But Opetaia's got speed, man. His speed is a problem in this division, and it's one of his strengths. He's not stiff, he's fluid, and he can move, and he's consistent, and he isn't intimidated by someone who has power. Jordan Thompson can crack, but so could Marius Briedis. Now, in the 10th round to the 11th round, man, momentum was kind of starting to shift a little bit and favoring into Marius Briedis' corner. Opetaia was beginning to get clipped with some heavy punches, and one of the shots in the middle of those rounds, that was a shot that broke his jaw, right? And when that happened, you could see he was starting to slow down a little bit. Obviously, when you get clipped with a shot, it's only natural that you become a little bit more weary, a little bit more hesitant because you don't want to get hit. Then we get to see the character and the heart and the will of Opetaia because he did not go down. He did not back down. Matter of fact, he kept coming forward and kept fighting, and he weathered the storm. And he even kept pressuring and coming forward and letting his hands go. It was just an all-around impressive performance, man. And the tides have turned. When you are the challenger trying to beat the champion, it's one thing, but now you are the champion, which means you have a target on your back. The pressure and the stake has now risen a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that and what he looks like. I'm interested to see what he looks like. Right? And how much his jaw has recovered. If he gets touched up a couple times consistently to the face, to the jaw, is it going to make him pull back? Or is he going to say, you know what, I've gotten hit now. I know the jaw is good. Obviously, he does that in training and sparring, but in a fight, it's two different things. In sparring, you're holding back a little bit, but in the fight, it's a little bit different. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds when Jordan Thompson reacts. And Thompson can crack, man. His opponent can do damage to the jaw if he is not careful and responsible with his movement. So let's talk about his opponent, Jordan Thompson. 15 wins, no losses, 12 wins by way of knockout. Now, personally, I think Thompson has a lot of upside. A lot of people might say otherwise, but to me, man, I think he's a talent, right? He's raw and still improving. It has improved. He's got that natural power. And when you got that natural power, it's always nice to have that nice touch in your hands. He has a lot of physical strengths. I mean, 6'6". I'm not sure what his reach is, but you know, he's going to come in with both of those advantage in this fight. But the question is, can he use those physical advantages to his advantage? And he's going to have to. He's been more active with his jab, which is going to be a key component for him in this fight in order to keep Opetaia off of him. When Jordan Thompson fought Vidal Ducar, I believe it was, I thought from an offensive standpoint, he was boxing well, keeping the range, using his jab, moving around the ring, trying to give different angles and different looks to Ducar. Ducar was just coming forward and trying to make him brawl and make it rough and try and catch him, right, when he could, trying to make it an in-close fight, trying to close the gap. I don't like how easily Ducar was able to push Thompson back, right? He was a little bit too comfortable with allowing his opponent to do that. And because of that, he almost paid for it. Ducar did not give Thompson any respect. Ducar in that final and 10th round, man, he was able to drop Thompson. Right. The only thing was Thompson got up and the fight was over with. But if Ducar was able to drop Thompson a little bit earlier, man, and had maybe about a minute left, who knows what could have happened? It would not have turned out well for Thompson in that fight. So he was fighting very well for most of that fight, but he was too conservative. I think he was playing it a little bit too safe, and he was giving Ducar way too much respect in that fight and almost costed him. Now, in his last fight, he fought Luke Watkins, and I thought he looked slightly similar than he did in the fight when he fought Ducar, especially from an offensive standpoint, but he was more patient with his approach, applied pressure a little sooner than the last time. I thought he's found his range a little bit quicker, and he let his hands go a little bit more. That's the thing with Thompson, man. If he can start quicker and let his hands go a lot quicker, he has the power and has the reach and has the accuracy and has the different display of attacks to make it tough for Opetaia, especially when he's coming in and he hasn't fought this year already. How can you make him uncomfortable right away so you can be the one that's controlling the pace? But if he lets Opetaia come forward, I'm not sure if Thompson can handle that pressure for too long. Thompson, in the fights that I've seen of him, man, he's not hard to get hit. He's kind of easy to hit. Right? His Philly shell needs a little bit work. He's pulling and moving his shoulder, but he's not moving his head back. That head is still on the line, and he's still able to get touched. I think the uppercut Opetaia is going to be there, and if he can loop some shots in, it's going to be there as well, too. I really think this isn't a fight where Jordan Thompson should try and make it a brawl. He should try to stick on the outside and really work his jab and really work his combinations, man. Use those physical strength to his advantage. Thompson was able to stop Watkins in the 6th round after dropping him with beautifully nice timed body shots before closing out the show about a minute later with a body shot. I really like what Thompson was doing in the way how he was positioning himself, giving different angles and looks and making sure that he was targeting his opponent's weakness. If he can do some of that good body work to Opetaia like he did to Watkins, man, that's going to make things a lot more interesting. If he connects cleanly and consistently and his conditioning is good and he can come on strong in the second half of the fight, if he is there in the second half of the fight, there's a great shot for Thompson to really get a win in this fight. He's coming, Opetaia is fighting in his home, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how it does unfold. So who wins? I'm really curious to see what Opetaia looks like, man, especially after the injury and the recovery process. You can say you're fully healed and you're fully good, but until you get into the ring and you get hit with a shot, you're not sure how you're going to respond. You got to be up here. If up here is right, which the toughness has shown that he is, the man fought with the broken jaw. but you still aren't sure how much that jaw is healed and feels until you get into the ring in real time and your jaw gets tested. I'm anticipating and expecting that same hard, tough, grit, skillful fighter that we saw when Opetaia fought Marius Briedis, man. So I think Thompson in this fight has to be more active very early, right? He has to assert himself early, and he cannot be fighting off of that back foot. Otherwise, it could be a short night for him. So for me, I like Opetaia in this fight by KO or some type of late stoppage. Thompson, I just think is too easy to get hit, man. Opetaia's mix of attacks is fast, accurate, and is powerful. And I'm not sure how Thompson will respond to that pressure. Someone who is accurate, precise, who knows exactly what they're doing, who can put together wicked combinations and then step aside out of range and be defensively a responsibility with fluidity in a quick second. This is a tough, big step up for Jordan Thompson. I think he is ready for it, but I think he's going to need to make sure defensively he's 100% locked in. I didn't like what I saw in the last 20 seconds when he fought Dussar. If he was able to hurt him, man, and Dussar is not as good as a fighter as Opetaia, it could cause some problems and just makes me a little bit weary in this fight for Jordan Thompson. So I'm taking Jai Opetaia to win this fight by KO or some type of stoppage. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We got a membership section going on the channel. Don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below. Become a member. Those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you that week. Or if you would just like to become a member, just to support and show love for the channel, man, I appreciate each of you, and that would be greatly appreciated and really does help move this channel forward. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this time, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.